showcasing local talent, professionals, and everyday people making Salt Lake City what it is today. It's time for another episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.
I want to personally welcome you out today to episode 98 of the I Am Salt Lake podcast. My name is Chris Hollifield. Welcome to my show. Welcome to the podcast where I introduce you to locals, professionals, authors, musicians, everyday people in Salt Lake City that I believe is making this city just a little bit better and making it so I can be proud to call this city home. You know, I get a lot of opportunities to sit down with people, find out their stories, find out what they're doing to contribute, making this city better. This episode, I sat down with Loy Hunsaker. She's brand new to the comedy scene. She does open mics Wednesday nights at Wiseguys. She's recently had the opportunity to open for Rebecca Cory on her Stand Up for Pits tour. You might have seen her there. I sat down with her. I found out her story, kind of how she got involved with comedy, her first open mic, kind of the challenges, what motivates her, just her as a person. So I'm going to jump into that conversation here in just 1 second, but I want to thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you're here. I'm here Mondays and Thursdays, so make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio. We're on the Mediocre Radio Network. Anyways, here's that conversation that I had with Loy Hunsaker. She came over to my apartment, we sat down, we chatted, and I found out a little bit more about her. So thank you so much for listening. I mean, I guess we can kind of start right how you got introduced to stand-up comedy, like the first time you ever did it. I mean, you're pretty new to the comedy scene, right? Or how long have you been doing stand-up? I'm
really new. I've only been doing it for 9 months. I've always wanted to do it, but I just get really nervous because everyone's just judging you. And so last year, my goal, like my New Year's resolution, it was just to do stand-up. And so the very, very, very last Wednesday of the year, I'm like, well, I guess I probably should just do this now and get it over with.
So you went to Wiseguys, did an open mic night the first time you did stand-up. Is that where you did it the first time? Or?
Yeah, I usually just go to Wiseguys.
Have you done stand-up anywhere else or just Wiseguys?
I did it at Lumpy's, and I did a show for my friend Jimmy United in Provo, which was weird. Nobody...
You did a stand-up show in Provo. How was that?
It was really uncomfortable.
Just because of the audience or what?
Yeah, there's just all these girls in like knee-length shorts, just with their arms folded and staring at me like...
And so how long were you doing it before you did it in Provo? Like about
4 or 5 months.
4 or 5 months. So you're new to it. You go down to Provo and you're like, what the hell am I doing in here in Utah County?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I got lost on the way there because...
You got lost going to Provo?
They don't have the same directions as Salt Lake. Like Salt Lake's so easy to get around. It's just first and second. In Provo, it's like all these different streets. And I'm like, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. And then I got lost. So you did an open mic, or you did something with some other people, or what was it? It was a show with other people.
Okay.
And it was pretty fun, but some kid told me I should do more abortion jokes. I didn't do one because I think they're distasteful. Is
abortion jokes pretty popular in the comedy scene, though?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess I need to go to more open mics or more stand up. I guess I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they're...
So do you do any abortion jokes?
No.
That's good. I don't know. That's kind of an area I don't know if I'd want to touch on, you know?
It's definitely not something I would want to do. Is
there any other areas of comedy you'd rather stay away from? Or I guess if you want to stay away from them, you probably don't want to talk about them on the microphone.
That's honestly the only one that I can think of that I actually just make it a point to stay away from all the time.
So back to the first time you did open mic. You got up there, you did your set, what is it, like a 3-minute set at Wiseguys, right?
Yeah.
Was it as bad as you anticipated?
No, but I think it's because a lot of my family was there. Like I have.
But wouldn't that make you more nervous?
The only thing that made me nervous about my family is there is my uncle and aunt. They brought their 15-year-old son.
Okay, so you're like, okay, no dirty jokes.
And I swear sometimes. Like,
every good comedian should, right?
And some guy was talking about being molested.
A comedian before you.
A comedian before me was talking about being molested. And my cousin just kept looking at me like, oh my gosh, is he really doing this? And I'm like, oh no, virgin ears.
So you got up there. What was the response like after you got up there? I mean, did you get hecklers or was it just some claps? I mean, was there any laughs? I mean,
there were laughs.
So that probably made you feel good.
Yeah, I felt like I could keep doing this.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't get any laughs, I probably never would have done it again.
Yeah.
But I did get some laughs. I didn't get any hecklers. I was pretty lucky. I think I might have been the only woman there, which is frequent. So.
Is there many women stand-up comedians in Salt Lake? I mean, I know there's a few, but it seems like there's a lot more men.
There's a few that they're not consistent. Mm-hmm. Like they'll come back and then they'll go away and then it's just inconsistent.
But don't you find that with most of the open mic crowd to kind of be that inconsistent?
Surprisingly, no.
Surprisingly.
It's a lot of the same people all the time.
So are you pretty much there every Wednesday now? Do you pretty much go to Wiseguys every Wednesday?
Yeah, every Wednesday. I didn't go last week because I got off work late and I'm like, oh, I'd rather take a nap, which, happened.
Okay. And you've done one, you opened for, who did you open for here just recently? Rebecca
Cory.
Rebecca Cory. How was that experience for you?
It was amazing. She's my favorite comedian, like lady comedian.
Yeah.
And she was doing a benefit for pit bulls. Uh-huh. Like she was doing 3 shows, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just for normal shows. And then on Sunday, she threw a huge benefit for stand up for pits. So
does she have any pit bulls there with her?
She had her dog with her. Her name is Angel.
Toured around with her and
she tours around with her. She's been on the cover of the Huffington Post, like on the first screen, the front page for Obama getting rid of the breed law. So you can't not breed specific dogs.
Yeah.
So she brought her dog with her because she just travels everywhere with Angel. And on Sunday, there were like 4 or 5 other pit bulls.
And did you open for her each night or just
Thursday, Friday, and Saturday? It was kind of, I was there on Friday to go watch. And then someone had to bow out and they're like, oh, we need you. And I'm like, okay.
Oh, so it was a last minute thing.
Yeah, both Friday and Saturday were.
Friday. Okay, so you didn't even really know you were going to be doing it.
Yeah.
You just got up and did it.
Yeah. On Saturday, I didn't even know. I was just kind of sitting in the audience, like minding my own business. And then the host was Jay and he called me up and I'm like, oh, what? Oh, okay. I guess I'm doing this.
So how long was your set? I mean, do you have a very long set? I mean, being a new comedian, I mean, have you developed?
It was 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Okay.
I got a solid 6 minutes.
But that probably felt like 60 minutes to you, right? Or no?
It did. I'm like, especially when nobody laughs, you're just like, oh my God, this is going to take forever.
Yeah.
I almost wanted to just jump to my last joke just so I felt like I did my 6 minutes after like 2.
So growing up, I mean, back to, you said you always wanted to get up. You always wanted to do stand up. You made yourself finally do it. Did you grow up in a house with a lot of comedy, listening to comedy records, or are your parents pretty big into stand up or not?
No, my dad's funny. Like my parents are funny.
Yeah.
My dad and I would listen to Jeff Foxworthy once in a while.
Okay, so kind of the rednecky. Yeah.
But my parents, they're just kind of funny and our whole family is just weird. Like every family pretty much, but we just fit each other so well and we're all so different that's just hilarious to be around us.
Are they pretty supportive now of do they come out to many of your open mics or?
My mom comes to like almost all of them.
Almost.
She just loves to watch it.
Really?
She doesn't understand some of my jokes and she'll always tell me. And then she'll tell me, don't make fun of your sister Candace, but it's kind of hard not to. So I love her.
So they're pretty supportive. I mean, where would you like to see yourself go as a stand-up comedian? Is there a direction you would like to go, or are you just kind of having fun with it right now?
I would like to go on tour, like maybe open for someone bigger until I have a bigger set, and that won't be for a long time. So I'm not too worried. I'm having fun. I'm having fun meeting all these new people. Everyone's so nice.
Are people in Salt Lake pretty supportive of each other? Do you find?
No. I feel like I feel like some people just don't like other people, and they'll talk about them, and it's kind of like being in high school again sometimes. And it's also a boys' club. So it's really hard.
So do you think it's pretty tough to make it as a woman then?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So if you're a guy listening accept women into the comedy scene, right?
Seriously, women can be funny too without being super crass, which apparently you have to be.
You have to be crass to be a good stand-up, you think?
For women.
Yeah,
you definitely have to. Like, I actually know a couple female comedians that aren't crass, but I can't name them right now. I just listen to them at work. Mm-hmm. But the ones that are Amy Schumer, she's disgusting. Ugh. Like, I don't like her. Rebecca Cory, she's pretty crass, but she's hilarious to me because she's just awesome. But
who are some of your, male or female, who are some of your comedic role models? Even the big names. Who do you look up to in the comedy scene?
Probably Rebecca Cory and Louis C.K.
I get a lot of people, Louis C.K. He gets a lot of respect.
And yeah, he could just talk about everything. And then you'll remember it. The second like something reminds you of one of his jokes, you're like, oh my gosh. And then start laughing and then be like, oh, because there's this lady with a dog. And I just remembered how he was like talking about how old people need their dogs, but the dogs don't really need them. If the dog died, that old lady wouldn't have anything. And vice versa, the dog wouldn't notice.
Yeah.
And then I see this lady like rolling down the street in her little mobile. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. Oh, that's sad. I really hope that dog doesn't die.
So you listen, you mentioned at work, you listen to a lot of comedy.
Oh yeah,
like
a lot.
Talk like podcast or just stand-up comedy albums or a little bit of everything, huh?
Mostly the albums on Spotify, so.
Oh yeah. I've never, I listen to so much music on Spotify, I forget that there's stand-up comedy on there.
I didn't know. I just found out what Spotify was like last month.
What?
I know.
A little late to the game.
I'm a little late to the game in most everything.
And then the month before that, you just found out about Facebook, right? Or
I didn't know. I went in 2009. I actually went to London to go study abroad, and someone's like, "Oh, do you have Facebook?" And I'm like, "What's that?" I had no idea.
So what were you studying in London?
Underground crime and disorder in English literature.
So is that what you graduated from where did you graduate school from?
The University of Utah.
Okay. Typical Salt Lake City person, University of Utah.
I love that school. Got my degree in English.
And how long ago was that you graduated from?
I walked in 2010.
2010, so pretty recent graduate. Now you're doing some stand-up comedy. Do you find that like any of that? Have you incorporated any of your schooling into your jokes at all or?
A little bit, just with, I want to be a teacher. Uh-huh. And I do tell a joke about how I want to be a teacher, but anybody that, when I tell them that, they only like tell me, well, you're going to be a really hot teacher. Or are you going to sleep with your students?
Well, that's an important question. I think that's fair.
But, I'm not a pedophile. Not yet. Like, I haven't started teaching, so I don't know yet.
You don't know if you are.
Kids look better now. They didn't look good when I was in high school.
But they look...
They're so gross.
Yeah. I look at like teenagers and they look so much young. I remember when I was 16 and 17, I thought I was so old. I thought I was on top of the world and I thought I was so mature and everything. And now they're just so young.
Yeah.
Kids are so young.
Yeah. And they're twerps. They're like, they think they're, and then when one flipped me off the other day, I was so pissed. I get really mad and then ranty.
You get a lot of road rage?
I get so mad. I was just cruising in the Harmon's parking lot and she flips me off because they were going really slow in the middle. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And I said that. I mouthed, what the fuck are you doing? And then she turned around. She flipped me off. I'm like, you little cunt. I was pissed.
And she called the police on you?
No.
You hope not.
I hope not.
Yeah, they got you. So you listen to comedy albums at work. Who do you listen to like the same one over and over, or do you think it helps with your routine? I'm even for, say, if somebody's listening that wants to do some stand-up comedy, that's why you're perfect for this since you haven't been doing it very long. You're learning techniques. What do you think is helping you develop who you are as a comedian? More you, or do you think watching other people, or what a little bit of everything? Talk a little bit about that. It's
kind of just a mixture of everything. I notice I have great support. I have a lot of people that just help me. When I get off stage, my boyfriend will be like, "Hey, honey, this you should probably work on this or this, and just name a couple things. It's like, yeah, I did that. Like one time I didn't move the microphone stand out of my way, and so nobody can see me. Sometimes it's as easy as, hey, you should take off your glasses because nobody can see your expressions because my glasses are too big. So
Do you think that's important for people to be able to see your expressions?
I definitely do, because I think that a lot of comedy is how you just are towards the audience. And if nobody can really tell how you are, they're just going to be like, well, I don't really understand.
Yeah.
So, and then a lot of it, I listen to the same albums over and over. I just want to see like where I could be better, and how, if I listen to a woman, it's nice to hear how they can condense their jokes.
Yeah.
Because I ramble a lot.
But don't you think, a lot of good comedians kind of ramble a little bit.
Yeah, but I have this problem where I tell stories that have no points. And so everyone
in your set you do.
In my set and in real life, and then people are just like, well, I don't get it. It's like, well, okay. Never mind, guys.
Yeah, let's move on.
Like,
next subject.
You guys don't get it. Never mind.
Yeah.
So it's nice. It's nice to listen to them over so I can see what I could do better.
Do you record yourself or anything when you perform?
Not often.
Is it tough to watch yourself back?
Yeah, I don't like to look at, like, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah, I get that even with like the podcasts. Or like, how do you listen to your own voice? It's tough at first to hear your own voice and listen to it.
Well, it just, I don't like my voice. And my brother always
most
teases
people
me.
don't.
Yeah, he's like, you have a nasally voice. What's wrong with you? And it's like, come on, really? And
then you punch him.
Yeah. He's a good brother, though, so I'll take it.
So what advice, what would you give with what you've learned so far with doing stand-up? What would you give back to, say, someone who's listening, like even myself? Say I wanted to get up and I wanted to do some stand-up. What would you, just to do it, or what would you
just have a beer and go up.
Have a beer and go up?
Yep.
Do you think it's important to be intoxicated? Do you think it's important to be messed up?
It's definitely not important, but it doesn't hurt.
It helps, right?
Sometimes it just helps to just have a drink and calm down. A lot of the people that come for the first time, they don't sit with other comedians. They just sit by themselves. And I think we don't bite. Just come sit with us and just ask if you can sit with us and join in on the conversation. Do you write
like a script out, or do you just kind of freeform it?
I write a script out, like just the bullet points of what I'm going to do. Lately, I haven't had to use it as much, so that makes me pretty proud.
Do you, describe your writing style when you're trying to develop a joke or work on your set that you might do on a Wednesday night? Is it just throughout the week and then you just kind of jot it down maybe on your iPhone or something, or? If
I think of something funny, I have Post-its at my desk and I hurry and write just like what the gist of it down. And then when I get off of work, I just shove them all in my purse, and then I start just writing like full sentences on how I want the joke and just restructure it over and over. And I try to use my phone, but I never look at it.
Or like maybe use a recording, capabilities and stuff like that, to record some thoughts or something. I don't know. I don't know. I don't do stand-up. So I don't do stand-up. So I'm one to talk, What do you think, like, so far? What's been like the hardest thing about doing it, or the most challenging thing?
I still get uncomfortable when nobody laughs. It's hard to just, if it's a consistent non-laughing crowd, then it's hard to keep going.
But don't you think, any stand-up comedian, whether you've been doing it for 10 years, might not get any laughs.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You're not going to make everybody laugh.
Yeah, I know that. And it's hard. Some comedians will come back and be like, oh, this crowd sucks. And that's hard. Because if they sit in there telling you how bad the crowd sucks, it's hard to want to go up after them because apparently the crowd's not thinking anything's funny.
Well, you mentioned you weren't heckled the first time you did it. Have you ever had anybody yell at you? You suck! Get off the fucking stage!
No, I have people talk to me sometimes when I get up there. Like a couple weeks ago, I got on stage and this guy, like in the front row, he just goes, I like your tats.
Right when you got up there and
yeah.
And so did you say, well, all right, cool, let's be best friends, add me on Facebook?
I just said, you like my tats? And he goes, yeah, I like them. And I'm like, why doesn't anybody say they like my tits?
See, so you made it, so, and now you kind of got a chuckle out of me.
And then another guy, he was super drunk just a couple weeks ago too.
Yeah.
And he kept talking to me. I have a joke about the game Sims, and he kept trying to talk about it. why I was up there.
Why you were up there talking.
Yeah. And I'm just like, this guy, because he was an engineer. Like he said that earlier. And I'm like, this guy's the awkward engineer. So let's just ignore that for a minute.
Yeah. Talking about challenging, I mean, what have you enjoyed the most, but with doing stand-up, like a rewarding thing? What would you say keeps you going up doing it time and time again?
I just like once I get off, I just get this immediate high. It just makes you feel good that you made people laugh or smile it feels good, and to get it over with. I go on with the thought, well, I'm just going to have to do this and get it over with. Like, I love it, but I can't wait to get it over with because it's so challenging sometimes.
And I know in the beginning when we first started talking, we briefly mentioned the Salt Lake comedy scene, the local comedy scene, kind of how they, could be better. Besides all that, what do you think of the local comedy scene? Besides you feeling that women aren't accepted? I think that we have a lot of talent. Like a lot of talent. Who are some? I mean, do you have any like favorites or people that you think people need to check out that might be listening? Say they've one coming to town or not coming to town. I guess they're from Salt Lake, but you know what I mean. Like maybe they're playing a show at Trolley. You need to go check them out. Who do you think's worth checking out? I think that Brian Pope. He's really funny. I don't ever see him at Trolley. He's usually at the complex, but he's going to be moving soon. So where's he moving to? New York. Yeah. Is he going to go out and hang out with Andy out there? Yep. Oh, for real? Probably not. So they're not like going to shack up and get a place together? Never see each other unless they go on the same open mic nights there. But have you ever been out to New York at all? Not like necessarily stand up, but I mean just in general. Have you been to New York? Yeah, a few times. It's a mess out there. It's amazing though. What do you like about? I mean, honestly, what do you think? What do you like about New York over Salt Lake? I love looking at. Oh gosh, over Salt Lake. Yeah, I'm serious. Salt Lake. That's hard because they have both of us have like such great people watching. Oh, but don't you think you get a headache out there? Every time I used to go to New York City, because I used to live a couple hours away from New York City, I just get the biggest migraines, just all the traffic and all the just noise. I think I like the noise though. I like how bright it is at nighttime in Trolley Square. I just love it. And I love how people are in costumes, in like furry costumes. In New York? Yeah, just out on the street. Where were you at? I don't remember. Were you at my mom's hoochie friend took us. I don't know. In furry costumes and a convention. Just people in like giant teddy bear suits and stuff, like Miley Cyrus thing. It was a while ago. I'm not knocking New York. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, there is sometimes you're like, man, it'd be great. I just think Salt Lake. I mean, what do you like about? Did you grow up here in Salt Lake, or where did you grow up at? West Bountiful. So you kind of spent many years here, grew up here. I love Salt Lake. I'm not going to move anywhere. I love it. You don't think you'll ever move? If I do, I'm coming right back here. All my family. People come back. They all come back. Yeah, that's because it's amazing here. We have every season. We have awful air, but we have great mountains. Do you get up and hike much? No, I go snowboarding though. Pretty big snowboarder. Yeah, but I keep hurting my wrists, both of them at the same time, every time I go. So I mean, what other besides comedy? Now that you've been doing it a while, what do you like to do besides comedy? I ride my scooter. I just got it this week. I got it back. Like a Vespa. Yeah, I have a vintage Vespa. And so I like to go riding with my friends. Now you mentioned you got it back. Where was it at? It was in the shop. Last year it didn't work at all. And we tried to fix it over and over again and just finally took it to the shop and they rebuilt it. They rebuilt the carb. So do you have any favorite local restaurants or cafes or eating spots, eateries? I love Maza. Maza? Yeah. I haven't been there. It's so good. Every time I bring somebody on the show, I ask them this question. And I feel like I'm such a expert when it comes to eating places. But people always name these places I've never been to. And I'm like, gosh, I really suck at being a Salt Lake City. The best thing about Salt Lake City, though, is you can just walk anywhere to go eat. Like all these places that people name, just a couple blocks away. That's my favorite thing about it. From downtown. Anywhere, yeah. So. Well, no. I mean, don't you think Salt Lake City's a tough city to walk around in, though? The blocks are too big. When I lived down the street, I walked everywhere. Yeah. I hated driving.
it was just easy.
Oh, when
to
you
walk.
lived close to downtown here.
Yeah, like I lived on First Ave, like First Ave and First East.
Oh, yeah.
And I would just walk everywhere that I had to go. If it just didn't matter. It was so nice to be able to walk somewhere.
Oh, it's great. It's great to be able to walk downtown, to go to bars. Do you hit up many of the bars downtown at all? Do you ever make it downtown?
Oh, yeah, I'm downtown a lot.
Yeah.
I went to Murphy's the other day.
Yeah,
I love Murphy's.
It's a good little bar.
I miss Bayleaf.
Bayleaf, yeah, it's good chicken
miss
and
that
waffles.
place, yeah.
Great chicken and waffles.
They're
Gosh,
trash,
why'd you have to
I'm
mention
so
that?
Sorry, I was just thinking because it was across the street from Bayleaf's but Murphy's, and I'm like, oh man, I really want that trash plate right now.
It's good.
It's so good.
So what would you recommend? Say somebody's listening. Say they haven't been to Salt Lake and they're going to come here and check it out. I mean, you mentioned Maza. I mean, besides like that, what is something that they just say they're here for a day? What do they got to go check out? First thing that comes to your head.
It's the temple.
The temple. It's beautiful. You know, and I had another. Throwing the whole thing out. You know what I mean? It's beautiful architecture.
It is.
I mean, it is. You know, there is tons of other things, obviously, to do here.
Oh, yeah.
But it is beautiful architecture. And if you're going to spend a day in Salt Lake City, go down and check out the temple.
I think
Take a couple pictures, post them on Instagram so your friends can know you were there.
And then get out.
Mm-hmm. And who said at one time, just make sure you don't kiss, you know, if you're a boy, don't kiss another boy or something.
Yeah, they'll get mad.
They'll get mad at you for doing
The sister missionaries that are always.
Yeah. Well, there was a big thing. Anyways. Anyway.
Mormons.
So, I mean, do you play any musical instruments or anything, or do you just do what you do? Do you play any musical instruments?
I used to play the flute.
You played the flute?
Yeah, but then American Pie came out and everyone teased me in high school, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to play the flute anymore.
Yeah.
Because thanks that movie. It ruined that for me.
So what do you have any like any shows you're doing coming up, or you just kind of doing more stand up, or
I'm just
anything
doing the open mics for the next little bit. It's been so busy lately because Labor Day is coming up, and then the scooter rally is coming up too.
When is the scooter rally? Let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, I know when's that coming? Because I know it's pretty soon, like you said, right?
Yeah, it's on the 6th through the 8th.
Okay.
So it's 3 days of riding just downtown. Like we all meet up and we register and we go for a ride, go have dinner together, then go to a bar and just scoot around. And then on Saturday we have a really long ride. Then we meet up for dinner later and then go to another bar.
How many people come out to that, do you think?
Oh gosh.
100, 200, 50 people? I mean, what?
Probably like around, like, I think last year maybe 50.
So it's like a big biker gang. You're all out there on your Vespas or what?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty tough.
This year, I guess since Vespa of Utah is sponsoring it, we are having motorcycles too. So.
Well, that's kind of intimidating.
It's not intimidating.
Next year, you're going to allow 10 speeds.
Come on, guys.
I don't know how I feel.
Get your shit together.
So, I mean, how do people find out? I mean, do you know, is there a website for something like this? I'm interested now.
I think it's ldsscoot.com.
LDS Scoot?
Last Days of Summer.
Oh.
I know. It's so clever.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, this is like, I didn't know this about you.
No.
I mean, first you're telling me to go to the temple. Now you're telling me to go check out an LDS scooter.
I was raised Mormon.
Were you raised? Well, that's
totally.
I mean, who wasn't in Utah, right?
Pretty much. I'm super like my ancestors lived with Joseph Smith. They like cut down their acres in Ohio.
For real?
I think to build him and his wife a hut.
For real though?
Yeah.
You're not pulling my leg.
The Morleys. We had a maple tree farm.
But this is probably like a great grandparents. I mean, not
a few greats, yeah.
A few greats. I mean, you didn't hang out with them though, right?
No. My grandma has a little maple tree though in her backyard from the farm.
From Joseph Smith's farm?
Yeah. No, it's my family's farm, the Morley farm. Joseph Smith just lived there.
Joseph Smith just hung out and lived there with one of his wives, huh?
One of them.
one of it.
Yeah. But the LDS rally is going to be, it's always so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like we go up to the canyons or we ride up to the canyons. Sometimes, I think last year we ended at the Bohemian.
The Bohemian Brewery.
Yeah, on 6200. Then,
I just know where that's down by Hooters. I just know that.
Yeah.
Where Hooters is.
You would know that.
Well, you know.
And then we have this like, I don't know what it's called. It's a scooter obstacle course.
Okay.
Yeah. And people, whoever enters just rides it around. Like,
do you enter it?
No.
Why not?
I have a fear of falling. Like, my scooter's pretty, I have a large frame scooter.
Pretty much you don't want to screw your scooter up is what you're saying. Not so much yourself. You just don't want to mess your scooter up.
Well, it'd also be really embarrassing to fall. Because one of my friends fell the first year I went, and I'm like, oh, I kind of have a crush on him. And then he fell, and I'm like, oh, well, okay. I don't have a crush on him anymore. I'm just kidding. I totally did.
Any other events coming up that you're looking forward to now that we're creeping into the fall months? Are you what's your favorite season? I mean, are we going into it? Is fall?
I like the fall. I like
everybody
the boot
says
season.
That though. The boot. Well, see, you're a girl, so I got to it's always related to some sort of fashion. You know what I mean? Sweaters or.
Well, yeah. I like the fall because it's when you can start gaining back your winter weight, which for me, I just didn't lose any of my weight from last winter, so I'm already ready for winter.
You're ready to rock.
I'm ready. Like, I'm cushioned.
Well, see, I usually can get away with drinking more beer during the winter months because back to the winter weight, you know.
And the big sweaters.
Yeah, just hide it all.
But I like the boots. I love the boot season. And
do you like snow, though?
I don't like driving in it. I like to look at it and then complain about it. I love complaining about how it's snowing.
Let's say you could change something about Salt Lake or make something different about Salt Lake. Would you change anything?
The lights. I wish they would synchronize.
Sometimes you get stuck at them and you're there a little too long.
The gas to go to work when I was living down here, it was ridiculous because I had to stop at every light. And
it isn't set up that you say you were going to go 30 miles an hour, you would hit all the green lights.
If I did, but everybody in front of me is not doing that.
Well, yeah, because they're doing their makeup or.
Pretty much. And the parking enforcement and their meters. I don't like them. I don't like the new meters.
What don't you like about them? You feel they rip you off, huh? You can't tag into somebody else's meter.
Yeah, that's it. I can't do that, and I can't just randomly put quarters in people's machines if they're running out of time.
Well, it makes you feel like a good person when you do that.
Yeah, that's my contribution to Utah. They screwed me over. Now I have to be nice to people. I can just put quarters in things.
We used to do it when I lived out east. I'd be like, say that there was a parking toll for like $1 or $2. I'd give them a few extra bucks and be like, oh, I'm paying for the person behind me. And then when they'd creep up next to me, like looking at me like, do I know this guy? You know, he just paid my toll. You know, it's little
That's
things
so nice of you.
Well, it's little things like that just make people's day.
Yeah, because people get stressed really easy. That's very nice of you. And parking enforcement, I don't like them. They put a ticket on my car for $0.
What?
Yeah.
And did you have to go pay it?
Because my registration, my stickers were faded.
Yeah.
So they ruined my morning because I'm like, well, fuck, now I got a ticket to pay for again, even though I'm out in front of my house.
So it was said $0.
It said $0. I was so mad. And I showed my dad and he's like, well, good tax paying money. I'm like, to give me a $0 ticket. It was so mad.
And so you went and paid it with $0.
I just mailed it back to him.
with all your junk mail.
I wrote a note and I drew a little goat that looked disgruntled. And I said, this really ticked me off on a Sunday morning. This is for $0. Please consider using your tax money better. And then I mailed it back to him because fuck them.
I love it. What's your all-time favorite movie?
Ooh, Space Jam.
Is that the one with Michael Jordan and Bugs Bunny?
It is.
And that's your all-time favorite movie.
I can watch that movie over and over again. It's just
I've never seen it.
It's what? What?
I know. I stayed away from that one. That one and Karate Dog and.
Why would you stay away from Space Jam?
No, I don't know. I just never got around to watching it, I guess. But
Muggsy Bogues is in it. He's the shortest.
Oh, the shortest basketball. Yeah, he was in the Pistons, wasn't he? Hornets. Okay, I don't watch a lot of basketball.
I was super obsessed.
Are you a pretty big Jazz fan then? Do you watch a lot of basketball when basketball season, or not really?
Not as much.
Yeah,
used to. Then they got crappy people.
They don't really have any good players right now.
Yeah, they'll rebuild.
Yeah.
And once they do, I'm a fair weather fan. I'll come back. I'll stick with the OKC, the Oklahoma City Thunder.
That's your team?
They're okay. I just know more of them than our team.
What, any ties to Oklahoma or no?
Yeah. Okay. So Eric Maynor was a rookie on our team on the Jazz.
Okay.
4 years ago. Probably 4 years ago. And then he got traded to the OKC. But he tore his something and now he's not playing anymore. But I'm still okay with him. I'm okay with him. Because he was attractive.
So you're on Twitter. People can follow you on Twitter, right?
Right.
Is that pretty much probably the best way to connect with you online? Follow your jokes, your silliness online?
Pretty much. I don't like to use the Facebook that much.
Yeah.
It's messy. Twitter, simple.
Well, Twitter's great for comedians. Do you follow a lot of comedians on Twitter?
No, because they tweet too much. They tweet too much about what's coming, like their shows or their specials. And
you're not really into that.
I go to them eventually. I I go to their page to look at their Twitters instead of following them because it's just easier. It's less messy for my Twitter feed. I'm such a Twitter snob.
Well, what's your name on Twitter so people can follow you?
50 Shades Ote.
50 Shades Ote. I'll put the link on the show notes for this episode, and so people can check you out. Any other places? Any other social media sites? Pinterest. I know the women like Pinterest.
I might be on that.
Are you? I
think I'm on it.
You think you're on it?
I don't know my name to it.
All right.
Though.
Well, then
it might be just the same.
We won't follow you on Pinterest.
No, don't follow me on Pinterest. I don't know what anything is on there. I don't know how to use it.
You don't know how to...
My mom introduced me to it a couple of months ago, and I don't know how to use it. Again, I'm late to the game.
You're late to the... Well, you're still figuring out Facebook.
It's just what I do. Yeah. I'm really late to everything. So...
Well, you weren't late tonight.
I know. I'm early in that aspect, but social media... I can't understand the internet. It's really
The internet,
difficult.
What is this ridiculous stuff on my phone?
I'm like an 80-year-old man when it comes to the internet. I'm like, huh? My phone's just for games.
What's your highest score on Snake?
Oh, I don't have that.
You don't play Snake?
No, because it's not Nokia. I don't have a Nokia phone. That was amazing.
Well, I appreciate you sitting down, I mean, especially, it's neat to kind of follow people's stories, as they progress in the I'd love to, bring you back down, back on the show, down the road as you've kind of delved more into the comedy scene a little bit more and done some more of that and kind of seen how you've grown, I guess they say, or is that do they call that in the comedy? What is there slang for becoming a better comedian in the comedy scene?
Dick.
A dick?
I don't know. Probably just make it like everyone hates you after.
Yeah.
I assume. I don't know. It wouldn't be me.
It wouldn't be you. Any pieces of advice or any sayings you want to end the show out with? Anything you want to leave with the listeners?
Do better and just be happy.
We'll leave it there. I love it. Thank you very much for coming on and talking with me.
Thanks.
Many thanks goes out to Taylor for coming on the podcast and sharing your story. And many thanks to you, the listener, for taking a listen and finding out about people in Salt Lake City that are making the city what it is today. So thank you so much. A few ways you can get in touch with me. I am on Twitter. Twitter.com/IamSaltLake. I try to keep you guys up to date on everything going on in Salt Lake City. Also on Facebook, I Am Salt Lake on Facebook. And the voicemail line, 385-202-5926. Give me a call. Let me know what you think of this episode. Let me know what you think of the podcast. If you have any events you want me to talk about, or if you want me to play back, I might play your voicemail on a future episode of the podcast. I'm here Mondays and Thursdays, so make sure to subscribe in iTunes. Speaking of iTunes, if you got just a few seconds, make sure to leave us a review in iTunes. That helps boost the ratings, gets us in front of more people, and more people find out about the show. A few ways you can support the podcast. You might have noticed a free shipping banner at IamSaltLake.com if you're in the market for any Zag products, the Invisible Shield for your iPhone, the Zag Spark so you can charge your phone when you're on the go, out and about, you're camping, you're traveling with your family. Great product. It's all over on the Zag website. You, the listener, you get free shipping. Just click on that link at IamSaltLake.com. Do your shopping like you would normally. They throw a few nickels our way and helps keep the podcast going. Also, drop me an email, IamSaltLake@gmail.com. I'd love to hear what you think of the show. I'd love to hear your story. If you'd like to come on the show, make sure to drop me an email. I want to hear what you're all about and possibly bring you on a future episode. So anyways, that's going to do it for episode 98, slowly creeping to episode 100. Thank you, everybody, for your support. Thank you for everything that you guys have done. I'm enjoying the ride. Hopefully you guys are as well. And I will be back again on Monday with a brand new episode of the I Am Salt Lake podcast.